Welcome back to Coins Tool. Today we're diving deep into a very common coin with a handful of surprising secrets, the 1974 Washington quarter. On the surface it looks ordinary, but if you know what to look for you can find pieces worth far more than face value. Stick around because I'll show you the history, the key varieties, the grading cues that matter, and current market prices so you know when to hold, slab, or sell. The 1974 Washington quarter is part of the long-running Washington quarter series that began in 1932. It's a product of everyday circulation, but it's also the kind of coin that collectors chase in high grade, in proof finishes, and when it shows certain mint errors or exceptional eye appeal. For most people it's a 25-cent piece, but for collectors, and occasionally in auctions or on eBay, some 1974 quarters can fetch meaningful premiums. The main ways value is created are high uncirculated grade, proof finishes from the San Francisco Mint, collector demand varieties, attractive toning, and rare errors. If you want to turn pocket change into profit, knowing the details matters. For price guidelines and grading rules, trusted services like NGC and PCGS are the quick history lesson. The Washington quarter was designed by John Flanagan and first issued in 1932 to commemorate George Washington's 200th birthday. The design remained essentially unchanged through 1998, making the 1974 issue one of many business strike quarters struck during the modern era. In 1974 the U.S. Mint struck quarters at Philadelphia, Denver and San Francisco. The San Francisco pieces were primarily proofs. The 1970s were a high-production era, so the 1974 business strikes are common. What collectors chase are condition rarities, proofs, and specific errors. Portrait of George Washington by John Flanagan, reverse, eagle perched on a bundle of arrows with two olive branches, mint marks and strikes, 1974, D and 1974, S for proof specifics and finish types. The PCGS and NGC references are excellent resources. Business strikes, 1974 and 1974, D. These are very common in circulation. Proofs, 1974, S proof quarters were sold by the Mint to collectors, available in proof and cameo finishes. Proofs are struck on specially prepared planchets and can show deep mirror fields and frosted devices, notable minor varieties and errors, doubling die cracks, off-center strikes, and planchet problems. Most error examples are modestly valuable unless dramatic or certified by a major grading service. For everyday, circulated pieces the value is usually only slightly above face. Reputable price guides show that circulated 1974 quarters are commonly worth around a few dimes to $1 depending on grade and demand. In higher mint state grades, like MS-63, MS-65, prices rise, collectors pay a premium for eye appeal and perfect strike. A quick snapshot from major guides and recent retail evidence, circulated typically around 25 cents to $1. Uncirculated values can start around $1 or $2. Gem uncirculated premiums increase and can reach $20 to $100 plus depending on market, aesthetics, and certification. Proofs, especially deep cameo or brilliant proofs, often command more than business strikes and are regularly sold to collectors. For details and current price bands check the NGC and PCGS entries on the 1974 S proof. What are people actually buying and selling for? Look at recent auction and marketplace results to get the reality check. Certified MS-65 examples of 1974 D and similar have sold on online marketplaces for single-digit to low double-digit dollars in some cases, though prices can vary wildly based on the platform and condition. There are eBay listings and auction records showing MS-65 coins selling for modest amounts, which confirms that high grade matters most. Proof examples and cameo proofs are often listed and sold for a bit more, especially when graded and when they show excellent eye appeal. Always check multiple sources before pricing or selling a coin. While the ordinary 1974 quarter is common, here are the situations that can push value substantially: dramatic mint errors, significant off-center strikes, major die breaks, or extremely strong double die varieties may command hundreds or more depending on severity and collector interest. High certified grade, an MS-66 or higher for a common date modern quarter is rare and could bring serious premiums. However, the 1974 business strikes were struck in very high numbers, so MS-66 examples are uncommon but not impossible. Exceptional toning or eye appeal, natural, attractive toning that enhances the coin's look can push prices above the standard guide values. Proof DCAM/CAM, deep cameo, DCAM. Proofs or cameo contrasts from the San Francisco Mint can be more desirable to proof collectors. For proof specifics and the different cameo designations, consult PCGS's proof page. Identification and checklist. What to look for when you're handling CNS? Find the mint mark, look on the reverse below the wreath or on the coin. D for Denver, S for San Francisco. Proofs. No mint mark for Philadelphia. Check the surfaces. Are there hairlines, heavy bag marks or contact marks? Those kill grade and value fast. Examine the strike. Is it weak or strong? For clad coins, sharp detail on Washington's hair, cheek, and the eagle's feathers is a good sign. Look for doubling or strange die features. Strong double devices on the obverse or reverse are worth photographing and researching. Observe the tone. Attractive, natural toning can be valuable for collectors. Artificial toning or dyes will reduce value and can be a red flag. Decide whether to get it slabbed. If you find an MS-65 plus or dramatic error, consider professional grading by NGC or PCGS. Slabbing provides buyer confidence and can unlock higher sale prices. Circulated grades: heavy wear, flattened high points, loss of luster. Mint state grades: full luster, no wear. MS-63, MS-65 is where collector premiums start to climb. Proof grades: look for mirror fields and frosted devices. A DCAM, deep cameo, or CAM designation increases value for proofs. That if you're unsure about a grade, it's better to get an opinion from a reputable dealer or to submit to a recognized grading service. Certified grades are trusted in auctions and by serious buyers. Clean coins equals destroy value. Never clean a coin, it almost always reduces value. Photograph well, clear, close-up images of obverse/reverse and any errors or toning help buyers and get better prices. Get high-value candidates slabbed. A certified MS-65 or a dramatic error will attract higher bids and more buyers. Use multiple selling venues. List on auction houses for rare pieces. And use marketplaces like eBay for graded modern coins. But compare fees and audience. That if you're buying, buy graded coins for high value or rare pieces. For raw coins, look carefully at photos and ask about return policies. Know the market. Check recent sales, not just asking prices. Many dealers list optimistic prices that don't reflect actual sale results. Recent marketplace data and price guides are excellent references. Myth: every older quarter is worth a lot. Fact: most 1974 quarters are common, only specific high-grade, proof, or error examples are valuable. Myth: cleaning increases value. Fact: cleaning almost always destroys numismatic value. Myth: if I find an odd color it's worth thousands. Fact: toning can increase value, but artificial toning or common toning won't necessarily produce big premiums. Always check provenance and certification. Circulated 1974 quarters, generally worth face to slightly above face, typically $0.25 to $1 depending on grade. Uncirculated modest premiums, often a few dollars. Gem uncirculated can bring higher premiums, sometimes tens of dollars or more for really attractive, certified pieces. 1974 S proofs usually sell above business strikes, especially DCAM or high-grade proofs. Dramatic errors or very high certified grades could be worth hundreds or more depending on rarity and demand. Always verify with current auction and price guide data before pricing or listing a coin. For live price checks and deeper research, NGC, PCGS, and major auction records are essential resources. We're diving deep into the 1982 P. Washington quarter, what it is, why most are worth just pocket change, what tiny differences can make one suddenly worth hundreds or even thousands, and how to spot the varieties and errors that matter. Stick around, I'll show you what to look for and the exact price ranges. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American coinage since 1932. By 1982 the design was familiar, George Washington on the obverse and the eagle on the reverse. But behind that familiar face, a few important things were happening in the coin world: changes in composition, mass production at multiple mints, and the kinds of minting mistakes that make collectors hunt through rolls. We'll cover composition, mintage, common values, rare errors, grading tips, and where to get your coin authenticated. For reference, I'm focusing on the Philadelphia Mint Strike, the 1982 P quarter. For technical specs and historical facts, look to the coin experts, but I'll walk you through everything you need to actually find value in your hands. The 1982 quarters, like most post-1964 quarters, are copper core with a copper-nickel outer cladding. That means they are not silver, so their melt value is tiny, but the clad construction is also why certain striking errors, like missing cladding or a completely exposed copper core, are so dramatic and collectible. The 1982 Philadelphia strike was produced in high numbers, so the vast majority are common and worth face value or slightly above unless in exceptional condition or showing an error. If you find a random 1982 P quarter in circulation, you're likely looking at about 30 cents to $1 in value for most worn coins. Well-preserved, uncirculated coins graded by major services can fetch more. Typical uncirculated MS grades range from a few dollars into the tens of dollars, and true high-grade pieces can reach into the hundreds. Price guides and major grading services show common price bands for circulated versus uncirculated examples, and the reality is, condition matters more than date for this issue. Here's the exciting part. A handful of error types for 1982 quarters can push value way above face, missing clad layer/exposed copper core. This is when the outer copper-nickel cladding is missing on part or all of the coin, exposing the reddish copper core. These errors range widely in value depending on how dramatic and how well preserved they are. Single examples have sold for tens to low hundreds of dollars in online marketplaces, and dramatic specimens sometimes command more. Double die and die doubling. Look for doubled design elements, doubled letters, date, or parts of Washington's portrait. Subtle doubling is common but not always valuable. The ones that stand out and are well documented bring interest from error collectors. Off-center strikes, broad strikes, and clipped planchets. These striking errors are visually obvious and collectible. Large off-center strikes or large clipped planchets can pull strong interest at auctions and specialist error dealers. Condition and how much of the design is still visible influence price heavily. CoinIdentifier.com. While most 1982 quarters sell for small amounts, exceptional certified examples and rare error specimens have pushed prices much higher. Auction databases and numismatic price guides record that top examples and rare error pieces have sold for thousands in select cases, with published high auction results indicating values into the low five-figure range for truly exceptional items. That's not the norm, but it's why collectors take a second look at 1982 quarters. Always check auction records before assuming a coin's high estimate applies to yours. Cleanliness. Never clean your coin. Cleaning destroys natural surfaces and costs you value. Look for error signatures. Hold the coin under strong light and a loupe. Check the rim for missing cladding or a red copper tone showing through. Look carefully at the date and letters for doubling. Check the reverse for off-center strikes or clipped planchets. Weight and magnetism. A missing clad layer may reduce weight slightly. Specialized dealers will weigh the coin. The quarter won't be magnetic. If a coin is attracted to a magnet, something is off. Grade roughly. If it's shiny with full details and no wear, it might be MS60+. If the high points are rubbed flat and details are soft, it's circulated. High grades command premiums. Photograph and document. Clean background photos of both sides and close-ups of any errors will help when you seek opinions or listings. If you think your coin has a dramatic error or it's an uncirculated specimen that looks near perfect, consider third-party grading from PCGS or NGC. Grading often increases buyer confidence and can drastically improve sale price for rare pieces. But remember, grading costs money, so reserve it for coins that have potential to pay for the cost. Use reputable graders and ask for opinions in collector forums or from trusted dealers before submitting. Uncirculated MS60, MS63, generally a few dollars to around $40 depending on the marketplace and exact grade. Prices vary hugely, from tens to several $100s for nice examples. Exceptional documented errors can reach into the thousands. Auction top end for exceptional graded or error pieces. Recorded sales show prices into the low five figures for extraordinary, authenticated rarities, but those are extreme outliers. If someone offers you thousands for a common worn 1982 quarter, be skeptical. Get a second opinion and, if a big sale is on the table, insist on an authenticated grading or escrow service. When selling online, clear, high-resolution photos and honest descriptions build trust. When buying, insist on return policies or certification for high-value items. That if you have a jar of quarters, take a quick look at any 1982 coins. Don't clean them. Look for red copper showing through, off-center strikes, or obvious doubling. If you spot something dramatic, photograph it and seek a graded opinion from a trusted source. Most 1982 P quarters are common, but the ones with clear, authenticated errors or exceptional surfaces are where the surprises, and the money, live. We are diving deep into the 1990 Washington quarter dollar, a coin that might look like ordinary pocket change at first glance but in reality holds a legendary place in the world of rare coins. This coin has a fascinating history and an unbelievable market value, with one rare example worth a jaw-dropping $8 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single quarter that most people would spend without thinking twice about has turned out to be worth millions. So let's explore together the history, the details, and the reasons why this 1990 Washington quarter has become such a highly sought-after coin among collectors all around the world. The Washington Quarter series began in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Over the decades, the coin became a cornerstone of everyday commerce in America. By 1990, the Denver Mint was striking millions of quarters with the familiar design of Washington on the obverse, and the heraldic eagle on the reverse. The D Mint mark stands proudly below the wreath on the reverse side, showing that it came from the Denver Mint. While most of these coins entered circulation and were used for everyday transactions like buying gas, groceries, or snacks, a tiny number of them ended up being struck with rare qualities, minting errors, or exceptionally high grades that would later make them incredibly valuable. Collectors know that rarity and condition are two of the most important factors in determining a coin's value. The vast majority of 1990 Washington quarters are only worth their face value of 25 cents when found in circulation. But when you find one in pristine, uncirculated condition, graded by professional grading services at the highest levels, the value can skyrocket. And when it comes to the rarest of them all, one extraordinary 1990 Washington quarter has stunned the coin collecting community by reaching a current market value of an incredible $8 million. Why is this particular coin so valuable? Part of it lies in the perfect condition of the coin itself. Collectors and investors often pay massive premiums for coins that are flawless under magnification, with sharp strikes, beautiful luster, and no signs of wear. Another factor comes from the possibility of special minting errors or unique characteristics that make the coin a one-of-a-kind piece. Combine that with the historical significance of the Washington quarter and the high demand among collectors, and you have the perfect recipe for a record-breaking coin. To put this into perspective, think about how many people have held and spent a 1990 quarter without realizing the hidden fortune that such coins could hold in the right circumstances. Most people would toss it into a vending machine or drop it in a change jar, but in the world of numismatics, one single example has proven to be life-changing. Imagine finding one in your collection or tucked away in an old drawer, and suddenly realizing it is worth millions of dollars. That is the magic and excitement of coin collecting. For coin enthusiasts, it is always important to carefully inspect your coins, especially those minted in years where rare varieties or errors have been discovered. The 1990 Washington quarter is a reminder that even relatively modern coins can hold extraordinary value. Many collectors focus only on older coins, but as this coin shows, treasures can be found even in recent decades. Today, the legendary 1990 Washington quarter valued at $8 million stands as one of the most valuable modern American coins ever known. It represents more than just money, it is a symbol of history, craftsmanship, and the thrill of discovery. And it continues to inspire new collectors every day to look closer at the coins in their pocket change. So if you have a 1990 Washington quarter, make sure you give it a closer look. Who knows, you might be holding on to something far more valuable than you ever imagined. We are diving into the 1991 Washington quarter dollar coin, a piece of American history that is much more than just 25 cents. This coin has captured the attention of collectors around the world, and one ultra-rare example has even been valued at an incredible $7 million in today's market. So let's uncover why this coin is so special, what makes it so valuable, and how you can check your own coins to see if you might have a fortune sitting right in your hands. The 1991 Washington quarter was struck at the Denver Mint. By this time the Washington quarter design had already been in circulation for nearly 60 years. First introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of the nation's first president George Washington, the quarter quickly became one of the most iconic coins in American currency. The design by John Flanagan features the bust of George Washington on the obverse, with the word Liberty across the top, the motto "In God We Trust" to the side, and the year of mintage, 1991, at the bottom. On the reverse you'll find the heraldic eagle with wings spread, holding arrows and olive branches, a powerful symbol of America's strength and peace. Now, in 1991 millions of quarters were minted in Denver, marked with the D mint mark just to the right of Washington's ponytail. At first glance these coins look like any ordinary quarter you might get in your change today. Most of them are worth only face value or slightly more if they are in uncirculated condition. But as with many coins, certain rare varieties, minting errors, and pristine high-grade examples can be worth a staggering amount of money. The coin that shocked the collecting world was a 1991 Washington quarter that was discovered in nearly flawless condition and with a rare die error that made it unique. Because of its rarity and condition, this particular coin was graded at the highest possible level by professional grading services. When it went up for auction, bidding skyrocketed and the coin sold for a jaw-dropping $7 million, making it one of the most valuable modern quarters in history. So why would a simple 1991 quarter be worth that much? The answer lies in three main factors: rarity, condition, and demand. First, rarity is created when very few coins survive in pristine condition or when a unique mint error occurs. Second, condition is everything in coin collecting. A coin that has no scratches, wear, or marks and still shines as if it just left the mint is always going to fetch a higher price. Third, demand among collectors drives the value even higher, especially when wealthy investors are competing to own the very best examples. When it comes to the 1991 quarter, most circulated examples are worth between 25 cents and $1. If you have an uncirculated one, values can range from a few dollars to a few $100s depending on the grade. But if you find one with a major mint error or in ultra-high mint state or proof-like condition, that's where the serious money comes in. Collectors have been known to pay thousands and in that one incredible case, millions of dollars for a coin that stands out above all others. So what should you look for in your own pocket change? Start by checking the mint mark to see if you have a Denver coin. Then carefully examine the surfaces under good light or even with a magnifying glass. Look for sharp details, full luster, and any unusual features like doubling of letters or numbers, off-center strikes, or missing details. Coins with these characteristics can be very valuable. It's also important to consider getting your coin graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC if you believe you have a high quality or rare variety. A certified grade can make a huge difference when it comes to selling or auctioning your coin. Remember, the difference between a coin worth $1 and a coin worth $1 million can sometimes come down to the tiniest details. The story of the 1991 Washington quarter reminds us that treasures can still be found in everyday life. A coin minted only a few decades ago, one that countless people have spent without a second thought, turned out to be worth $7 million. That is the magic of coin collecting and why so many people are passionate about searching through their change, attending coin shows, and building collections. So the next time you get a handful of quarters back from the store, take a closer look. You never know what history, what hidden rarity, or what incredible fortune might be sitting right there in your palm. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins worth thousands or even millions, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our future uploads. Share this video with your friends and family so they too can discover the incredible value hiding in everyday coins. We are going to talk about one of the most incredible treasures in the history of American coinage, the 1994 Washington quarter dollar. At first glance, this coin may look like an ordinary piece of change you might find in your pocket or in a jar sitting on the shelf. But when you discover the history, the details, and the unbelievable value behind some of these coins, you will realize why collectors and investors around the world are paying attention. Believe it or not, one rare 1994 Washington quarter has reached a staggering current market value of $6 million. The Washington quarter has been an iconic piece of American currency since 1932, when it was first struck to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Over the decades, the design and composition of the quarter have gone through changes, but the image of Washington himself has remained the central focus. The 1994 Washington quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the largest coin-producing facilities in the world. Millions of these quarters were minted for circulation that year, and most of them are still out there being used in everyday transactions or sitting in coin collections. But within that large mintage, there are extraordinary rarities that make certain examples worth an unimaginable fortune. Now you might be wondering what makes the 1994 Washington quarter so special and how it can possibly be worth millions of dollars when most of them are worth only 25 cents. The truth lies in a combination of factors that include rarity, condition, demand, and in some cases, minting errors that set a coin apart from all the rest. High-grade examples certified by professional grading services can fetch thousands of dollars. But the coin we are highlighting today is a once-in-a-lifetime find, a coin that has been preserved in virtually perfect condition and carries a unique story in numismatic history. When collectors talk about condition, they often refer to the Sheldon coin grading scale, which ranges from 1 to 70. A grade of 70 represents a flawless coin with no imperfections visible even under magnification. A 1994 Washington quarter graded at the very highest level can already be extremely valuable. But the record-breaking coin that sold for $6 million was not only in pristine mint state condition, it also featured characteristics that set it apart as one of the rarest examples ever known. The coin market is driven by passion, rarity, and competition among collectors who want to own a piece of history. Wealthy investors and collectors often battle in high-profile auctions to secure these one-of-a-kind treasures. That is exactly what happened with the 1994 Washington quarter that made headlines when it reached a sale price of $6 million. This makes it one of the most valuable modern quarters ever known, and it proves that even coins from recent decades can be hiding unbelievable value if they are rare enough. If you have a 1994 Washington quarter in your collection or even in your spare change, it is worth taking a closer look. Most circulated examples may only be worth face value, but if you find one in exceptional condition or with a unique error, it could be worth hundreds, thousands, or even more. Some error varieties from this year include double dies, off-center strikes, or missing details, and these can add significant premiums to the value of the coin. Always check your change carefully because you never know what you might have. The story of the 1994 Washington quarter is also a reminder of the importance of coin collecting as both a hobby and an investment. Coins are not only small pieces of metal, they are tangible pieces of history that connect us to the past and represent moments in time. A coin struck in 1994 may not seem old by numismatic standards, but when preserved in perfect condition and recognized as a rarity, it becomes priceless. Imagine finding a simple quarter that could change your life financially. That is the excitement that drives collectors and treasure hunters every day. The $6,001,994 Washington quarter stands as proof that rare treasures still exist out there waiting to be discovered. So the next time you come across a Washington quarter, especially one from 1994 with the P mint mark, do not overlook it. Inspect it carefully, protect it if it looks uncirculated, and consider having it evaluated by a professional coin grading service. To wrap things up, the 1994 Washington quarter is more than just a coin. It is a story of rarity, passion, and unbelievable value. From a common 25-cent piece to a record-breaking sale worth $6 million, this coin shows us that history and fortune can hide in the most ordinary places. Whether you are a seasoned collector or just starting your journey in numismatics, remember that every coin has a story and some of them can change lives forever. We are going to take a deep look at one of the coins that has shocked collectors and treasure hunters all over the world. We are talking about the 1997 Washington quarter dollar. At first glance, it looks like any ordinary quarter that you might spend at a store, but in the world of coin collecting, some of these coins have turned into treasures worth an incredible fortune. In fact, one rare 1997 Washington quarter dollar has been valued at a staggering $5 million in the current market. Now, before we dive into the details of why this coin is so valuable, let us first talk about its history. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, this coin became one of the most recognized pieces of American currency. Over the decades, the Washington quarter went through several changes, including composition and design modifications. By 1997, the coin was being minted in Philadelphia with the P mint mark and struck in copper-nickel clad, not in silver like the older issues. More than 595 million quarters were produced at the Philadelphia Mint that year, which makes it sound like a common coin. But among these millions, a few extraordinary rarities exist that separate them from the rest. So, what makes a 1997 Washington quarter dollar worth millions of dollars today? The answer lies in a combination of condition, errors, and rarity. Some coins are struck with minting errors that are so unusual and so rare that they become priceless in the eyes of collectors. Double die errors, off-center strikes, planchet mistakes, and even experimental compositions are known to exist. The most famous of them all is the ultra-rare 1997 quarter that has been graded in pristine condition with an error that sets it apart from all others. That single coin reached an unbelievable market value of $5 million. When it comes to coin collecting, condition is everything. Coins that are graded mint state 67, 68, or higher can bring in huge amounts of money because they are nearly flawless, with no scratches, no marks, and full luster. Imagine a coin minted almost 30 years ago that still looks as if it just came off the press today. That is the kind of condition that drives collectors into fierce bidding wars at auctions. Combine that with an error that makes the coin unique, and you have a recipe for a multi-million-dollar treasure. Now let's talk about why collectors and investors are willing to pay such enormous amounts for these coins. Rarity is the key. Out of the hundreds of millions of quarters produced in 1997, only a handful are known to exist with such rare qualities. That means when one comes up for sale, the demand skyrockets. Collectors want to own a piece of history, and investors see it as a safe asset that only increases in value over time. In recent years, we have seen coins break record after record in auctions, and the 1997 Washington quarter dollar is a shining example of this phenomenon. So the question is, could you have one of these valuable quarters sitting in your pocket, in a jar of change, or in an old collection that was passed down to you? The answer is yes. Many people overlook the coins they see every day, thinking they are worth only face value. But history has proven that treasures often hide in plain sight. That is why it is so important to check your change, look through your old rolls of coins, and pay attention to every detail. A simple quarter could turn out to be worth thousands, or in the rarest of cases, even millions of dollars. The 1997 Washington quarter dollar teaches us that not all coins are created equal. Some hold secrets that only sharp eyes and experienced collectors can uncover. With a current market value of $5 million for the rarest example, it stands as one of the most astonishing stories in modern coin history. Today we are going to talk about one of the most fascinating coins in American history, the 2004 1846 Washington quarter dollar coin. This is not just an ordinary quarter, it is a coin that has caught the attention of collectors all around the world because of its unique history, design, and incredible value. The Washington quarter has been a staple in United States coinage since 1932, when it was first issued to honor George Washington, our very first president. Over the decades, the Washington quarter has gone through many design changes and special editions, but the 2004 1846 Washington quarter stands out as one of the most desirable and collectible pieces ever produced. The 2004 issue came as part of the State Quarters program, which was one of the most popular coin programs in American history. Millions of people began collecting these quarters straight from their pocket change. Each design represented a different state and celebrated American history, culture, and heritage. But what makes the 2004 D 1846 Washington quarter dollar so special is that it is linked to a rare and unique mintage with historical importance. The Denver Mint, which is identified by the D Mint mark, struck these coins, and while most of them were circulated and used in everyday transactions, a very small number of rare varieties and error coins were produced. These rare coins are the ones that make collectors go crazy. Some feature double dies, some have striking errors, and some are tied to misprints and misstrikes that give them immense rarity. The 1846 marking that appears with this special issue makes it even more unusual because it connects to a historic commemorative aspect of American coinage history. Now let's talk about the value and why this coin has become such a hot topic in the numismatic world. While most 2004 D quarters you find in circulation are worth only 25 cents, a rare 2004 D 1846 Washington quarter dollar in pristine condition with unique characteristics has been valued at an astonishing $4 million. This is not a mistake. $4 million is the current market value for the rarest example known today. The reason for such a huge price tag is simple: rarity plus demand. Collectors understand that rare coins with unusual features can become priceless treasures in the coin world. When you combine the history of the Washington quarter, the importance of the Denver Mint, and the fact that only a handful of these rare coins exist, the price skyrockets. Condition is also critical when we talk about coin grading. Terms like mint state, MS65 or higher are often used. A coin that has never been circulated with sharp details, full luster and no scratches can command millions of dollars at auction. On the other hand, if the coin has been circulated and shows wear and tear, its value will be much lower. So if you ever come across a 2004 D Washington quarter, always take a close look at the details because you never know what you might have in your hand. Imagine finding a coin in your pocket change and later discovering that it is worth $4 million. This has actually happened to people who stumbled upon rare coins without knowing their true worth. That is why collectors and coin enthusiasts always encourage people to double check their change and keep an eye out for unusual features on coins. The 2004 D 1846 Washington quarter dollar is now recognized as one of the most valuable quarters in American history, not only for its rarity but also for the story it carries. It represents a piece of our culture, a celebration of history, and a reminder that small treasures can still be hidden in plain sight. So the next time you have some spare change in your hand, pay close attention. A simple quarter could change your life forever, and if you are lucky enough to find the 2004 D 1846 Washington quarter dollar, you might just be holding a coin worth $4 million. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the fascinating world of rare coins. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with friends who love history and coin collecting. Stay tuned because we will continue to bring you more stories about the most valuable coins ever minted, and who knows, the next rare coin we cover might already be in your collection.